Hello, dear students. Welcome back to a news channel. Let's go to the article of the day. Marathi Bengali among 5 granted classical language status by Union Cabinet. Students, in today's episode, we will be exploring significant cultural and historical developments that shaped our nation. And there's a news of 5 languages which are given the status of classical language. So we will dive into this exciting news, and the status have been given by union government. But what does this mean for these languages? How will it benefit the communities that speak them? Let's find out. Students, first of all, we need to understand what is a classical language. What do you mean by a classical language? We know India is home to uh, many languages, and each language is carrying a sort of centuries of cultural history, right? Because language reflects the culture. Language has, uh, you can say, a cultural significance attached to it. So to protect and honor this diversity, Government of India created the classical language status in 2004. All right, in 2004 गवर्नमेंट ने क्या लेकर आए थे कि एक क्राइटेरिया होना चाहिए जहां पर हम कुछ लैंग्वेज को क्लासिकल लैंग्वेज का दर्जा दें. But not just any language can qualify. There are specific criteria that must be met. For example, number one criteria is that the language should be over 1,000 years old. It should be around 1,000 years old. It should have an extensive body of ancient literature. Ancient literature भी होना चाहिए उस लैंग्वेज का. And it should also be culturally important to generation of speakers. Right? तो जो बोलने वाले लोग हैं उनके लिए भी इम्पोर्टेंस होनी चाहिए, वो उनका कल्चरल सिग्निफिकेंस होना चाहिए. राइट? एंड स्टूडेंट्स, the first language to receive this recognition was Tamil language. Okay, so Tamil in the year 2004 received the status of classical language, and then it was followed by Sanskrit, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, and Uriya. And now in 2024, the recognition has expanded to what? Marathi, Bengali, Assamese, Pali, and Prakrit. Pali and Prakrit is language that that was spoken by people in ancient history. है ना? उस time पर Prakrit was used by mostly by Jain people, and even we also have some Buddhist literature. Moreover, Pali was more used by Buddhist people. So Prakrit and Pali is, you can say, a sort of ancient language, and then Marathi, Bengali, Assami. तो ये 3 और लैंग्वेज हैं, टोटल 5 languages जिनको क्लासिकल लैंग्वेज का स्टेटस दिया है. Now, why is this news significant? Students, this announcement is monumental for the regions where these languages are spoken. तो जहाँ पर ये भाषा बोली जाती है, जहाँ पे ये लैंग्वेज पॉपुलर है, उस एरिया के लिए ये बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है, बहुत ज़्यादा सिग्निफिकेंट है. See, Marathi is the language of Maharashtra, Bengali is spoken by millions in West Bengal, and Assamese is the heart of Assam. On the other hand, we have Pali and Prakrit, which were widely used in ancient texts. So it also holds, so all these languages hold immense cultural and historical significance in India. And the inclusion of these languages in classical category is not just a symbolic act, it's a concrete step towards their preservation. We have to preserve languages as well, because we have seen in the past that some since we were not able to save it, we were not able to preserve it, we have lost many languages. Government stated that these languages represent India's profound cultural heritage, and this recognition will lead to new opportunities in academic research and the preservation of ancient texts. And if you look it from the economics perspective, it will also help in creating jobs, especially in fields such as archiving, translation, publishing, and digital media. Right? Now, let's talk about the real world benefits that a language gains after being recognized as classical. Students, the first benefit, yes, फर्स्ट बेनिफिट क्या मिलेगा अगर एक लैंग्वेज को क्लासिकल लैंग्वेज का दर्जा दे दिया जाता है. सबसे पहले तो गवर्नमेंट एक फंड एलोकेट करते हैं. गवर्नमेंट एलोकेट स्पेशल फंड्स टू प्रमोट रिसर्च इनटू दीज लैंग्वेजेस, एंड स्कॉलर्स कैन those who are studying that particular language, they can also receive grants to study ancient texts and explore language's contribution to literature, history, and even culture. Second, there are academic opportunities because special departments in universities are often set up focusing solely on these classical languages. For example, several central universities have been established to promote classical Sanskrit studies. Because Sanskrit is a what? Sanskrit is also a classical language. So it is expected that similar initiatives will also emerge for Marathi, Bengali, Assamese, Pali, and Prakrit. And it will allow students to dive deep into the history and richness of these languages. Now, we are living in a digital world, right? So we can also use, and even government will also be using digital world in language preservation. With the advent of digitization, many ancient manuscripts and texts in these languages can now be documented and translated, and this will make them accessible to a broader audience worldwide. पूरे वर्ल्ड वाइड लेवल पर जो ऑडियंस है वो उसको एक्सेस कर सकती है. And this digital push will also create jobs in digital storing data of language, right? तो एक कल्चरल एस्पेक्ट के साथ साथ इकोनॉमिक पहलू भी जुड़ा हुआ है अगर हम किसी लैंग्वेज को क्लासिकल लैंग्वेज का दर्जा दे देते हैं. नहीं तो वो लैंग्वेज लुप्त हो जाएंगी, लॉस्ट हो जाएंगी, गायब हो जाएंगी, right? And of course it has the cultural importance because the recognition of these languages reflects the government's dedication to preserving the identity and heritage of different linguistic communities. Otherwise, it will also create a sense of resentment, dissatisfaction among the people who speak these languages, because they'll be saying there's no steps taken by government for the preservation of these languages. Like Marathi, for instance, has been an important language for centuries in Maharashtra, which is home to a rich literary tradition. उस रीजन में जहाँ पर ये जो भाषा बोली जाती है क्लासिकल लैंग्वेज वाली, वहाँ के लोगों के लिए एक बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट, बहुत ज़्यादा कल्चरली सिग्निफिकेंट स्टेप हो जाता है अगर उनकी लैंग्वेज को क्लासिकल लैंग्वेज का दर्जा दिया जाता है. Similarly, Bengali, when we look at the Bengali, Bengali has a deep-rooted history in literature and arts because it's the language of Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore. रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर ने बंगाली में अपने लिटरेचर लिखे हैं, तो वहां पर भी एक डीप रूट, मतलब हिस्टोरिकल इंपॉर्टेंस कितना ज्यादा है. एंड एसएमएस पाली एंड प्राकृत हैज also ancient legacies, and it has influenced spiritual, philosophical, even literary traditions in India. Pali and Prakrit एंशियंट टाइम पे बुद्धिज्म और जैनिज्म की लैंग्वेज हुआ करती थी. एसएमएस was promoted by Assam people, Ahom kings. So by giving these languages classical status, India is not only protect its past but also empowers future generation to connect with their heritage. अपने हेरिटेज से कनेक्ट होना भी बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी होता है. कई बार क्या होता है कि although we are living in a digital world and we have a tendency to you know copy from Western countries, but उसकी वजह से कई बार हम अपने डाइवर्सिटी को भूलते जा रहे हैं. सो एक ये स्टेप क्लासिकल स्टेटस देने की वजह से इंडिया नॉट ओनली प्रोटेक्ट इट्स पास्ट, अपने जो फ्यूचर जनरेशन है उनको भी एम्पावर कर रहा है ताकि वो अपने हेरिटेज से जुड़े. सो इट्स अ मूव दैट embraces डाइवर्सिटी. इंडिया इज अ लैंड ऑफ डाइवर्सिटी. हर चीज में डाइवर्सिटी है, तो अगर हम उसको प्रिजर्व कर रहे हैं, वी आर embracing our diversity. At the same time, it fosters a deep understanding of our shared history. एक shared history है, उसको भी समझने में ये मदद करता है. Students, so in the end, the globalized world of today, we are living in a globalized world. We are connected to, we say that it's a small world because of the digital media and digitization. It's a small world now. So it is quite easy to overlook the importance of preserving language that carry deep cultural significance. क्योंकि हम ग्लोबलाइज्ड वर्ल्ड में रह रहे हैं. People are adopting the practices of Western countries, right? तो कहीं ना कहीं इस ग्लोबलाइज्ड वर्ल्ड में एक जो डाइवर्सिटी है, एक लैंग्वेज को कैसे प्रिजर्व करना है, उसकी तरफ ये एक स्टेप देख सकते हैं, क्योंकि इन लैंग्वेज का एक बहुत डीप कल्चरल सिग्निफिकेंस है. सो द रिकॉग्निशन ऑफ मराठी, बंगाली, एसएमएस, Pali and Prakrit as classical language is a reminder that our linguistic diversity, our language, the diversity that we have in terms of language, is something to be celebrated, protected, and passed on to future generations. It has to be the diversity has to be celebrated, right? So this status opens new doors for research, preservation, and even job creation. So if you are a speaker to any of these languages, take pride in the fact that your language is now officially recognized as a custodian of India's heritage. All right, students, so that's all for today's episode. And stay tuned. Moreover, please Like, subscribe, and share for the latest update. And till then, stay curious.